draining the swamps. Do you know who has the biggest power in this country? We the people. But guess what? The elections are coming. It's less than, what, 10 months away. They're going to be going on campaigns. They're going to be giving their slogans. Well, we want to be able to have a partnership with the constituents of these people who have put their own interests, their own pockets, and an interest of a foreign criminal cheddar network above their constituents' interests, right? And to say, you know what? As they are campaigning for their re-elections, we want to go and give the flyers and inform their constituents and say, drain the swamp, get them out of this office. All it takes is that 10-second vote, and you can do that. But because of some reasons, and we all know about those reasons, the deep state's reason, they want us, we the people, feel powerless. And this whole notion that we can elect 1 or 2 people and they're going to change the country, they're going to drain the swamp. Well, that doesn't happen that way. We need to have the active citizenry back. And this is an example. This is not going to be the last time we're going to be here in Texas. What we want to establish our own network here with Texans. And we want to say, let's show them this coming next November that we will out them, boot them out of their office, and replace them with people who would sign the pledge and say, I am going to be elected and represent your interests. And we want to be able to say, it's not only us, Newsbud. Take a look at these people right here. These are your constituents, and you're going to be running for office again. There's going to be election times again coming up. You owe your constituents an answer followed by action. This is the only way we gotta bring about the needed changes, people. We can't sit and read these things in articles, watch some YouTube clip, and then say, oh man, things are disgusting. Why nobody is doing anything? Because the real question is this: why aren't we do something about this? There are a lot of things we can do. They want us to believe that there is nothing we can do because we are irrelevant. All we do every 4 years, we go there and we cast our vote, turn around, and then we keep getting screwed by our politicians, by our elected representatives, even by our police chiefs. Well, that is not factual. We do have the power, and we can exercise our rights. And we are entitled to demand actions from the people who are there in those offices for one reason alone: to represent us and to have our best interests. Well, that hasn't been the case. Let's make this a case. Let's make this happen. We want to hear from Texas. We want to hear from people in Austin, in and around Austin. If we can take a plane trip, 4 hours just from Portland portion of it alone, and come down there to do this for Texas, you guys in Texas, you ladies and gentlemen, you can do it too. You should do it too. Let's do it together.
It's time to make draining the swamp not just a campaign slogan, but an action taken by we the people that can actually have tangible results. As Newsbud's founder Sibel Edmonds points out, we simply cannot expect one man, regardless of his position, to drain the swamp. It's up to us. That's why Newsbud is paving the way to actually unseat corrupt politicians, starting with Texas. But we need your support to help make it happen. And we can actually do this. Yes, we are a relatively new startup, but with your support, we've been able to build this organization from the ground up, and now it's time to take it to the next level. We have the camera crews, we have the platform, and the plans to make it all happen, but we need you to act now, and we do not have a lot of time. The primaries are coming up very soon in Texas, and we have a list of congressmen who have been compromised, putting the interests of shady and criminal groups ahead of the interests of the voters. Newsbud is determined to go back to Texas to drain the swamp and unseat these pocketed politicians, but we need to start right now. So we're asking all of you to go to newsbud.com and support our grassroots activism and independent journalism by making a donation so we can get Sibel Edmonds and the Newsbud production team back to Texas to hold these congressmen accountable. This is a bipartisan issue that affects everyone, and we need everyone to rally behind this effort if you are truly serious about draining the swamp. Everyone's always asking what can be done. Everyone is always looking for solutions. Well, here is one solution. Help Newsbud get back to Texas to finish the job. And together, we the people can drain the swamp. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, Newsbud just got back from Texas where we went and rattled some cages and knocked on some doors demanding accountability, but that was only the beginning. In order to make this happen, we need to have everything in place in the next week or two. We are only limited by the amount of support we receive from you. If you are in Texas and you'd like to join us, send us an email to the link provided in the show notes. If you're unable to make it, the best thing you can do and the best way you can help is by making a donation. Otherwise, we will not be able to afford to make this happen. And for all of you who were able to join us at the Texas Capitol last week, it was great to meet everyone. Everyone that was there is going to receive a complimentary subscription to newsbud.com so you can have access to all the great content produced every day by our fantastic team. Well, let's take a quick look at what you get with a Newsbud subscription. This week at Newsbud, our Russia expert deconstructs the current geopolitical climate between the major players on the world stage. Our China expert breaks down what's really behind the U.S. policy on North Korea. Our financial expert offers a different perspective on Bitcoin that you will not find anywhere else. But first, this week, Newsbud's constitutional attorney, John W. Whitehead, covers the current state of the nation as the government is growing at an alarming rate, backed up by a militarized police state and surveillance grid directed towards what the government fears the most, the public. In this must-see episode, Whitehead offers several solutions by getting active in your own local communities to drain the swamp and how to push back against unconstitutional laws and what has incrementally become an authoritarian government.
The greatest impact can be had at the local governing bodies, such as city councils. Join together with friends and neighbors and start a Civil Liberties Oversight Committee. Regularly attend city council meetings and demand that government corruption be brought under control and that police activities be brought under the scrutiny of local governing bodies and, therefore, the citizenry. Remember that local towns, cities, and states can nullify or say no to federal laws that violate the rights and freedoms of the citizenry. In fact, several states have passed laws stating that they will not comply with the NDAA, which allows the military to indefinitely detain or imprison American citizens.
The full video is available right now on Newsbud's YouTube channel. This week, Newsbud's founder Sibel Edmonds had an exclusive interview with an investigative journalist based in Greece. His name is Chris Miletis. They broke down the attempted assassination by the CIA of a Greek prime minister that was virtually blacked out by the media.
The fact that you had trials, you had investigations taking place in Greece, and yet the media was hushed, international media hushed about this. I mean, this is a very, very significant event. You're having a U.S. agency, CIA agency's operative in a NATO ally nation, okay, and a EU member, Greece, and the agency CIA truce operative is attempting assassination of the prime minister, democratically elected prime minister in Greece, and we are looking at basically 8 years ago. Do you have any theory or hypothesis how in the world did they manage all these international medias, mainstream medias, corporate media, to hush this story?
Sibel and Chris cover the assassination plot by the CIA to remove the former Greek prime minister that was blacked out by the media. In this 50-plus minute long must-see interview, Edmonds and Miletis also delve into the current geopolitical turmoil between the East and the West, Operation Gladio B, the refugee crisis in Greece, and much more, exclusively available for Newsbud community members, or you can watch it now at Newsbud Vimeo On Demand. This week on Newsbud's Geopolitical Report with Kurt Nimmo, Nimmo exposes those who are not only responsible for creating fake news, such as the mainstream media, Nimmo also uncovers those who are engaged in an all-out war against the alternative media within the governments around the world who are working with the internet giants such as Google, Facebook, and Twitter to censor news and information that does not conform with the official narrative that is disseminated from the establishment. The political elites like Hillary Clinton and many others want you to believe that fake news is dangerous. Well, for once, I think I agree with them. Fake news is dangerous.
There are many other examples, but to date, the lies and fabrications told to the American people about Saddam Hussein and Iraq are the granddaddy of fake news. The establishment media repeated a number of fairy tales passed off by Bush and the neocons in his Pentagon. The stories painted a picture of Saddam Hussein's supposed nuclear and biological weapons program and a fantasy connection to Al-Qaeda. These factoids are completely baseless, and after Bush invaded Iraq and killed 1.5 million people, the media sheepishly admitted the stories were false.
The full video is available now for Newsbud community members. Non-members can watch and share at Newsbud Vimeo on demand. In this week's edition of Newsbud's Russian Newspaper Monitor, Professor Philip Kovacevic reports on all of the most important news and latest developments with all things Russia as Putin is preparing for his presidential run as the West looks to sabotage him. Also find out the latest moves by the West, including the Council on Foreign Relations and the Atlantic Council's efforts to destabilize Russia, plus the economic war between Russia, China, and the U.S. as some big moves are being made regarding natural resources, specifically oil. Just like all Newsbud's productions, members have 24/7 access, but now non-members can view and share at Newsbud Vimeo on demand. Now this week on Newsbud's China Watch with Peter Lee, Peter breaks down the recent developments with North Korea and their continued fear-mongering by the government and the media to further expand the China Hawk's military buildup, which equals big bucks for the military-industrial complex, plus the latest on the U.S. efforts to position Australia as a key asset in the China containment operation as things heat up down under, while the media turns a blind eye. Plus, find out which countries some of the global superpowers are battling for economically and much more. This episode and all of Newsbud's latest can be seen right now by Newsbud subscribing members. Non-members can watch it and share at Newsbud Vimeo on demand. This week, Newsbud's financial expert Pi Ian offers a unique, controversial take on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies on this week's edition of Money and Fear, as the gold prices continue to be artificially suppressed, constituting the largest financial crime in history. Could cryptocurrencies be a Trojan horse? A move by the deep state to set up complete control of all money in a digitalized form? Find out all this and much more exclusively at newsbud.com, or you can watch it at Vimeo on demand. Now, Newsbud also offers our own aggregated news, and we call it Sibel's Picks. It's the best source for aggregated news online, and our community members love it. Newsbud's founder, Sibel Edmonds, handpicks each story herself, and you get all of this, the videos, the articles, Sibel's Picks, the roundtables, the interviews, and much more, exclusively available for activist community members, so be sure to sign up today. And once you subscribe, your price is locked in and will never increase. We want to deliver the best to our activist community members, but we need your support to do so. Also, be sure to go to newsbud.com and support our current fundraiser, so Sibel Edmonds and the Newsbud production team can organize the Battle for Texas campaign to drain the swamp of the pocketed politicians. This is just the first step, but it will only happen if you do your part and support Newsbud. Again, we are working against the clock here, and if we do not receive the funding we need for this very soon, we will not be able to make this happen.
All I have to say is this: it is incumbent upon us to do that. We have to do this. We have to stand up for our own rights, because we can't sit back and wait for these corrupt politicians who have already been pocketed to do it for us. And those of you who are not in Texas, those of you who can't join us, please visit newsbud.com. We have a fundraising going there. Please contribute. No amount is too little.
We hope to see you all in Texas very soon. From all of us here at Newsbud, thank you for your support, and stay tuned for next week's lineup.